Hello everyone, my name is Cetus and welcome to Imperator Rome as Egypt. We are going to basically just work our way, I think, through the mission structure. I just wanted to check out Egypt. It seemed like a fun nation to play in this game, and I was kind of thinking of this game again. So we begin here in Babylon 18 years ago. The Argid King Alexander died suddenly at the age of 32. I'm going to get a lot of names horribly wrong, by the way, in this video, and I'm sorry for that, but that's just how it's going to be. In the 5 years preceding his death, his continuing military successes had reshaped the world as known to the Greeks, his empire stretching uninterrupted from Egypt to Indus. The shock of Alexander's early death and his lack of a chosen successor sent shockwaves through the hierarchy. I think this is summarizing to the empire fell apart, and now we have all the little different pieces of it. So we are Egypt here. We're actually a pretty decently sized nation. We're beginning pretty strong this time around, 1,700 people. And we are kind of lost part of the Alexander Empire. We have Pythia over here, also was a part of the Alexander's Empire. They are much stronger than us by about 1,000 people. The Seleucid Empire, 3,000, so they're massive. Anyone who watched my last video in this series, you'll remember we played as Minia and had fun with those guys. Rome is still quite small at this point, only 400 people, but they're going to rapidly expand. Unless they don't. I have once seen in this game where Rome just got demolished, which was interesting to say the least. Yeah, and so let's just dive in, because I think we're just going to build up Egypt. I'm actually kind of curious to deal with Egypt because they have some mechanisms that are a little different and I haven't really had to deal with. For example, like here, we look at it zoomed out. Egypt is this lovely giant piece of land, but anyone who knows much about Egypt knows that the reality of that is, oh, it's not that much land because most of this is desert and wasteland. So we have, the bulk of the empire is up here where the Nile meets the Mediterranean Sea. And we have very fertile land here. And then the fertile land follows the Nile all the way down where we have a bunch of territory until about here where it moves off into other countries like Kush. And we have little strips of habitable land, though not necessarily hospitable land. Hospitable? Up and around here. It's much more desert-like, and a lot of our territory is desert, which presents its own challenges. But the challenges I was specifically talking about is we have these impassable terrain pieces filled with desert and other inhospitable locations where we have the potential for barbarians to build up, because this is land that's not regulated, that we don't have any control over, and they will build up barbarian strongholds. And as you can see, their power will change by plus 0.01 or 0.01 every month, and eventually they will attack us, and we will have to consider that as part of our empire. Now, a way around that, what you can do is if you gain enough civilization, you can lower this rate. So actually up here, close to the center of our civilization, when we're pretty civilized, right now there's no growth. It's a factor of how many troops we have nearby, the total population, and how civilized everyone is. But further back here, let's look down here. Well, that one's actually not so bad too. I think this might change once we go through a few months, because I've seen a lot of barbarians build up. Okay, here's its plus 0.05, so it'll build up and be a problem over time, basically. We also will have to be careful because Pythia is giant and powerful. They have, 56,000 manpower and 15 cohorts, and we have 12 cohorts and 43,000 manpower. So that actually makes it seem a little closer than the reality is, but the reality is they will have way more money than us and just in a better position to crush us. So we'll have to watch out for that. We'll probably try and build up our forts over here. One of the things I'm kind of thinking of trying to do with this video series is focus a little bit more on building my empire rather than growth, than rapid growth. So we'll see how that goes. We'll see if I'm capable of that. We do begin with some subjects. So, Endos, where are you? Where are you? Am I blind? Oh, Endos is up here. Oh, that's really quite unexpected. Oh, that little island in here somewhere. Oh, there we go. I'm just super blind. So apparently we have 3 subjects. One is this tiny little island well over here, which how we have them, I don't know. Then we have Kos, which is where is Kos? Kos, a tiny little island as well. Oh, here we go. Yeah, so we have a couple of tiny little islands up there, which is really odd. It's got to be leftovers of the Alexander Empire. And then this little place is ours as well, which I kind of expected. We will want to integrate them as soon as possible because let's be frank, we're going to expand. I know I said I'm building Toll, and I am going to build Toll, but like, come on, this should all be Egypt's, right? Right? Yeah. Yeah, definitely. This seems right. Maybe this way too. I won't go too crazy, but I will go a little bit. But that's enough setup. Let's dive into actually playing the game. So, let's take a look at our trade routes. For our capital, we can have 7 trade routes. We're currently using 2. As for what you trade, you get different bonuses. So, for example, fish. Fish provide a local monthly food modifier plus 10%. Each surplus in the province gives you an additional 3%. Each surplus in the capital gives you plus 5 national freeman happiness, which is there's 4 types of citizens. That's one of them that you can have. And when you export, you get 2.5. And that's generally how it plays. Some of these are more strategic. Horses let you have horse cavalry or heavy cavalry and light cavalry. Steppe horses provide you with horse archers, which are fantastic. Camels are... I actually don't know. I've never really used camels. Hopefully better in the deserts. Wood, you need it for building ships. Iron, you need it for heavy troops. Elephants, which I would imagine elephants are pretty strong, and we're going to want... I was going to start with that, but what I want to kind of look at, if I remember what menu it's in, those are missions, we'll want to look at that. Decisions, I need to talk about that. What is the menu I'm looking for? Here we go, military. So as we gain military tradition, we can unlock these bonuses, and I just want to take a glance at what we get for building these out. So, because you generally want the 3 different columns and you want to walk down them, and you generally want to push down to the bottom of one before you do others, though you can mix and match a little bit. So the far left one, enemies are attrition more on our land, which is great. Light infantry are more powerful, which is great. Light infantry will handle deserts better because they need less food. Merchants, shipbuilding is cheaper. I think ships will actually be important for us. Camels are better. Camels are better in the desert. Cavalry are better in the desert. Interesting. Cities can build more. Camels are cheaper. Cavalry are cheaper. And camels are better. The middle one gives us better ships, better defenses. Military colonies, following in the footsteps of the establishments of colonies of devoted loyal soldiers, give us manpower base to draw upon. I don't quite remember what those do, but probably good. Morale, camel, national manpower. National manpower is knight, and light infantry ability. And then on the right, it's probably our heavy infantry, right? So heavy infantry, light infantry, heavy infantry. A new tactic, which we'll get into later. Mercenaries are cheaper, ship damage, loyalty of generals, and heavy. I think we're going to go down the left. So, camels is what I'm getting out of that. And the reason I was looking into that is when we do our imports, we are going to grab camels. We will import from Rainier. Then we'll do camels again to make them better. And we will grab from, yeah, Seleucid Empire is fine. We're also gonna grab, I kind of want to grab, I want to grab elephants because elephants are cool, but the reality is they're going to be highly attritioned in the desert. So I'm not gonna do it. Not yet. Later down the road, we'll definitely get it. We have a lot of fish. We'll probably need more food in the later, but what can we do? Pop simulation film, we won't need that. Spices, happiness, etc., etc. Cheaper troops. Better defenses, which might be worth even just the one for better defenses might be good. But anything for civilization rate, mobile, mobile, civilization level. Yeah, let's do this. Let's grab some of this. So our civilization rate grows up faster, which is good. Let's grab Pious for research points. And can we grab some more Papyrus for the extra... Yeah, extra tech. What else do we got for trade? There's a bunch of our provinces that are going to have trade routes. I'm going to hold off for a little time because I want to see how our nation is doing as a whole. We have free idea slots, so if we... There's a bunch of types, so there's military, civics, oratory, and religious. If we specifically do one military and two oratory, we get the national bonus, which in this case is less tyranny, more national citizen happiness, and the desired freeman ratio in cities is higher. So we'll get more of an upper class of citizen. So we want this. So we're going to take one military. We can take morale of armies plus 10. This is an excellent one because just like in EU4 and a lot of Stellaris, not Stellaris, a lot of Paradox games, morale wins wars. Ironically, not in Stellaris. We can get cheaper ships, or my personal favorite, ordered retreats. Reinforcement speed is faster, morale recovery is faster. This isn't this helps you if you mess up and lose a fight. But even if you win a fight, this helps because your army is going to refill faster and get its morale up faster. Because even a one victory will probably have lower morale because of dead comrades. So it helps all around. For oratory, we can take less monthly corruption, loyalty of generals, and improved opinion. Loyalty of generals and admirals is super important because they will betray you if you don't. So that's one we're going to grab. Now for the other one, I think we're going to grab the corruption. And I generally don't get corruption with my rulers. I avoid it because it has a lot of penalties. But if we have a permanent negative to monthly corruption, well, maybe we can be a little corrupt and get away with it. It'll be interesting. We'll play with it. We can always come and change this later if we don't like it. Available decisions. Now, I actually turned this on. There's a setting when you start it where you can enable social equality right off the bat. Some nations have it by default. I actually don't know if Egypt does or not. Most don't, considering the time frame we're in. I don't know. It seemed kind of fitting to me for Egypt. I mean, I don't think they were particularly good at it in this era, but I think of female pharaohs, so I don't know. I just like it because, honestly, it's really frustrating when you have a really good woman that could serve in an office and they're fantastic and you're like, I just want to choose her and you can't. So I tend to just always turn this on. I find it funner, and since it's my version of Egypt and it's not completely historically accurate, I figure my version of this country got social equality quicker. Religion now is another option thing we choose. This will reset. I don't know. I think it's every 36 months or every year or something. We can get decrease effects of aggressive expansion. So if we take places, aggressive expansion will hit us less. Better armies, well, better morale, so better armies. Monthly civilization change increase, and global monthly food firm. So we're going to take the civilization change because we want to get civilized as fast as we can in the different areas, because A, it will help us get technology later. B, it will help us with these barbarian buildups, which I think is going to be a lot of what we are dealing with. A little less conquery, a little bit more barbarian dealing with this. Okay. Inventions. So, Inventions is this game's version of technology. You'll have 3 at a time of each type in theory. once I buy up these 3, if I don't have the next technology level, nothing will appear. It will become vacant. So you can get to a situation where everything is empty, which is entirely possible. We are Egypt. We're not the most civilized. We actually have apparently a good ratio of citizens. There's, as I mentioned earlier, there's different types of population. Citizens is the highest, hardest to get, and the more of them you have, the better research you tend to have in your country. Apparently ours isn't so bad. I kind of expected it to not be as good as, say, Rome. It probably isn't as good as, say, Rome, but at least it's pretty good. I've almost always played countries that have terrible research, so that will be a nice change if it's true. I don't know. We could buy something for 257 right off the bat. I don't know that we need any of this right away. But we're going to ignore that. Let's zoom in. A bunch of our commanders need... our armies don't have commanders. And our fleet doesn't have an admiral. And our fleet doesn't have an admiral. Oh, we only have 1 army. That's kind of sad. So, let's take a look at this. Oh, that's actually kind of awesome. So, you want a leader with the best martial skill, because that will make him the best general possible. You want to pick... the colors are a good indicator of which great family they are a part of, because there are multiple great families in each civilization. You want to have each family having a certain number of important jobs, otherwise they feel scorned, they don't make enough money to pay for themselves, and they will probably betray you. Right now we have a good balance because the game just begins with you having a good balance. One of the things you want to think about is your biggest army. You want it to be with someone who is very loyal to you, because if your biggest army decides to betray you, you're probably in trouble. A way you can get around that is you can make your ruler the leader of the army. Now, fortunately, our ruler also happens to be the best guy there is, so that's just an easy choice. But no, he's 63 years old. This is the old world. He's probably not around very long. But we're going to stop there. Oh, apparently we have scorned families now? Okay, that's fine. We'll fix that. Now we'll look at our navy. So we are gonna grab this lady down here who's 9, who's very good. She's not the best, but it's a scorned family, and it'll make them happy. So that's fine. Another navy down here. We will just assign it to this lady who's the best. That's dealing with all the immediate pop-ups, which I think most of the episode is just going to be me introducing concepts and talking about them. What did I want to look at? Let's look at government, because we are... What type of government are we? National overview. Oh, a monarchy. That makes sense. Aristocratic monarchy. Okay. So right now we are 63. We're probably going to die. This guy, Lagos, is going to be our heir. And he is he our son? Oh, we have a lot of children. Yeah, he's our son. So that's good, right? It's going to go to our heir. He's loyal to us, probably because he's the heir and he knows he'll inherit. He has a lot of support behind him. 28 of all the important people, which is all of them, currently support our heir for ruling. So we shouldn't have too many issues when we switch over. This is another big component. All these other 3 people, who are all my children, and pretenders to the throne, they're all going to be super grumpy when they don't get the throne. And they're going to want it. Because they're like, well, if we just knocked off this guy, we could have the throne, and that would be excellent. So it's something we'll have to watch out for. And with bigger empires like Egypt, maintenance of the people under you and the loyalty is a huge component and can get you in a lot of trouble very quickly, simply because your empire can fall apart on you. One of the things we can do to kind of control... Oh, interesting. So there's different... These are the laws, and we can change them up to cause different effects. Our succession law right now is family marriage, which means the eldest child of the ruler will be the primary heir regardless of gender, which is very useful. But if your eldest person is female and not very good for the inheriting, what you could do is switch to one of the more traditional, so to speak, forms, which only allows the eldest male child. This is a way you can kind of choose who inherits the throne, and it is useful, though I tend to just stick on familiar marriage, and my oldest kid gets it. There's a few variations in here that aren't worth getting into at this point. And I think we're going to need to look through some of these laws and decide what we want, but this is a decent place to stop. I haven't unpaused the game once, but I feel like I've poured a lot of information towards you. So hopefully that's helpful, and I hope to see you in the next episode.